Hey, this next video is going to be starting where we left off with the Warriors Mark Run watershed in central Pennsylvania in the Spruce Creek watershed. And we're going to be adding the land cover layer to this data set where we left off. So we had just finished making the stream network and the DEMs just for the Warriors Mark Run watershed. And now we can add the land cover. And then we can do basically an analysis of the different land uses in the Warriors Mark Run watershed. So let's go ahead and add the land cover data. And you all have this from, I believe, lab number 9. They're lab number 9 or lab number 10. So I think it looks like lab number 10 because otherwise it would be in these lab 9 files. So this is from your land cover data. And we're going to look for this northeast coverage with the .img at the end. So this is not a .tiff file. This is a .img file. So let's go ahead and add that. And you'll see it covers quite a broad range of the Northeast. If you wanted to zoom out to the full extent to see that full coverage, you could see it. And where that red dot, where the Warriors Mark Run watershed is. Okay, so let's go ahead and zoom back to our watershed boundary. So I'll click zoom to layer. And since our land cover layer is a raster file, we need to go to the raster clipping tool in order to clip this land cover data. So let's go to raster processing, clip, and we'll input the image file for the land cover. So that's our cookie dough and our cookie cutters, the Warriors Mark Run watershed. So this watershed boundary is where we left off last. And we want to click use input features for clipping geometry and save our file. So I'm just going to call this Warriors Mark WM land cover, so WMLC. This is not a .tiff file, so do not put an extension here. If you do, it'll get rid of your attributes table, and that's going to be tricky then for interpreting what the land cover is. So go ahead and click OK, and it should clip your land cover data for our watershed boundaries here. So just take a moment. Yep, and once that's worked, you can go ahead and remove the original file if you want, so you can just see where it's clipped to. And in general, the green is the forested areas, and the yellow and the brown are agricultural areas. And you can kind of tell just by looking at this that the headwaters, so farther away from the streams, have the forested areas in them, and really close to the streams is where you see a lot of the ag landscapes. So you can kind of think about what that might mean from a water quality perspective. So just think about that as you're thinking through the data today. And then you can kind of see the red. So that's a more developed area, probably low development, not very much going on here, mostly forested and ag land use. But let's go ahead and expand that layer that we just clipped, and you'll see all the different land uses. Wow, so many possible ones, and we don't have anywhere near that many in this particular watershed. So let's go ahead and go to joins and relates to join the way we can interpret the layer. So maybe I should just back up 1 second and show you the attributes table first, just in case you want to look at what it is that we're going to be doing with this data here. So here we can see that we have this many, basically this value is our land cover code, but we don't know how to interpret it yet. So we know that we have basically, let's see, 9 different land uses in this particular watershed. And the count is the number of pixels that are in each of those different land use types. But we don't know how to interpret this value yet. So that's what we're going to do here is join the file that we're going to use to interpret this data. So if you go to join, and we're going to join based on value, and we have to navigate to our land cover files that you have. And you should be able to find this land cover index.xls file, which will allow us to interpret those numbers. Keep clicking, and then you'll see that code is the only option here. And we're going to keep only matching records, because that helps us to, instead of having, you know, all these many different layers, just have the 9 that we need to interpret the land cover that's in our particular watershed. So I'm going to hit OK. And as long as that worked, we should be able to look at our attributes table now and see how to interpret those numbers. So now we can still see the original things that were there, but now we can see the land use as well. And so we're all kind of set, except for we still don't really know how to interpret these numbers if you were to look at them in your legend. So the last thing you want to do is look at a legend and see that you've got part of your watershed as number 11 and not know what that means. So let's go ahead and edit these land uses just so we'll be able to tell the people who look at our map what it is that they're looking at. So 11 is open water. We just need to change the ones that are actually going to show up on our legend. And this is developed open space. 22 is developed low intensity. 23 is developed medium intensity. And we've got some different forested land uses. So let's go down to 41. Change that from 41 to deciduous. Didn't mean to click on the symbology there, just on the number. Okay. Deciduous forest. Make sure you spell that right. Otherwise, it'll be wrong in your legend later. 42 is evergreen forest. And 43 is mixed forest. Right, so now we'll go down to pasture and hay. So I'll go all the way down to 81. And this yellow color, pasture and hay. And 82 is cultivated crops. So that's usually the row crops. So corn and soybean would be what's kind of under cultivated crops. If you want more detailed land cover for ag, you actually need to go to the Ag Statistics website, and then you can get the National Ag land cover there as well. And so you get far more detailed information about what's going on in the ag layers than just these two. Okay, so now we're all set in our legend. And if we go flip to our layout view now, we'll see everything that we have on our map, plus this massive long legend. So the trick for getting this legend to be just the bite-sized amount that you need it to be for your particular map is to go to the legend properties and find the land cover layer, and then check where it says only show classes that are visible in the current map extent. And if you do that and hit apply and okay, it'll make your legend much more manageable, and you'll be able to see all the right colors for the different land covers that people are used to seeing, as well as all the different names of the layers. That's just the ones that you have on your map. And I still have my elevation clicked, so I need to turn that off so it doesn't show up on my legend. Refocus my legend a bit here and maybe zoom out a bit. And when you're navigating around your layout here, you actually want to change something on the map. So make sure you grab the regular hand, not this one. And that'll allow you to move what's on the map around a bit. And then you can have your legend be wherever you need it to be. You'll have your north arrow, your scale, your name. And now we just need to give it a different title because now it's the land cover instead of the elevation. So Warriors Mark Run land cover map. Hit OK, and you're all set. So you can go ahead and hit File, Export Map, and save your map file. So Warrior Mark land cover, and that's our .tif file, and you'll be all set. All right, nice job, everyone.